What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. There have been a lot of set leaks for the Fantastic Four recently, including our first look at The Thing and the practical suit that Ebon Moss-Bachrach is going to be wearing as The Thing. And right away, go ahead. If you've seen this already, or if you're seeing it for the first time right now on the screen, let me know what you think about this. I quite enjoy this. I really do like the practical suit, and keep in mind that of course it is going to be enhanced, touched up, whatever you want to call it, with CGI. But instead of going full CGI and using mocap, they are using the practical suit, which I think is a great call. And I think him and the suit both look really good, but let me know your thoughts about it in the comments down below. We also have some brand new set footage that shows who could be Frankie Raye, aka Nova, who could also potentially be another Herald of Galactus in this film. So we could have Julia Gardner as the Silver Surfer, Shalla-Bal, and then we could have Frankie Raye as Nova, another Herald of Galactus. And of course, we'll break it all down in this video. Now, big shout out to the account UnboxPhD. They have been the ones capturing all of the images, all of the videos that you've been seeing going around online. They have a YouTube channel where they post all of the footage that they've captured. I'll go ahead and link that down below. Be sure to check them out. But they posted a new video today with new footage, and it's titled Frankie Raye, aka Nova, sighted on Fantastic Four First Steps film set, ? Also on top of that, there is new footage of a big crowd all applauding for the Fantastic Four. And based off of what we've heard so far about this film, this makes a lot of sense because the Fantastic Four are indeed a famous superhero team in this universe. Now, there's a lot of leaks going around out there. We're not 100% sure what is true at this point in time, of course, but we do know one thing. This is going to be in an alternate universe set in the 60s. And according to a few different scoopers out there, this universe never experienced the Dark Ages. So they were basically never set back. They just advanced, never had the Dark Ages to set them back or to pause them in time. So therefore, they became more advanced earlier on in their timeline, which explains why this is set in the 60s, but it's still more advanced, more futuristic than our main Earth 616 sacred timeline. So for those of you who have been asking how the heck are they going to be more advanced if they are set in the past, technically, well, this is your answer. And the Dark Ages lasted roughly 1,000 years. So basically think of it this way. This universe, if it's true and they did not have the Dark Ages, they are 1,000 years more advanced. Now, according to another leak that seems real, but of course is not confirmed to be true at this point in time, the Fantastic Four team in this alternate universe did not originally come from that universe, but they came from the sacred timeline. And throughout the movie, they're going to be trying to get back to the sacred timeline. And if that is true, it's going to be incredibly important. But in this universe, they are really, really famous. And that is because, based off of what we know already, there aren't really that many superheroes in this universe. We've heard there might be a few, but the Fantastic Four are the main ones. Now, moving on to the Silver Surfer. Deadline originally reported that Julia Gardner was going to be playing the Silver Surfer back in April, and they said she is believed to be playing Shalla-Bal, but it's not confirmed at this point in time. And according to this leak, they state that she could be playing Frankie Raye. Now again, take it with a grain of salt because they say they believe it could be Frankie Raye. And if this is the case, then that could really change what we know about this movie. And here's why. Obviously, these are two different characters, Shalla-Bal and Frankie Raye, aka Nova, and they have very different stories of how they become the Silver Surfer. In the 616 universe in the comics, Shalla-Bal is actually not the Silver Surfer. She is actually the love interest of Norrin Radd. They are together, but then Galactus comes and Norrin Radd ends up sacrificing himself, and he volunteers to be the Herald of Galactus in exchange for saving his world. Now, if they are going this story route for Shalla-Bal in the Fantastic Four in the MCU, they could just swap it and say that she is the one who volunteered to be the Silver Surfer and then became the Herald of Galactus and therefore became the Silver Surfer. However, in a different story in the comics in a different universe, 9997, Shalla-Bal was still the lover of Norrin Radd, and Norrin Radd was still the Silver Surfer. However, Galactus would go on to be destroyed, and then they realized that Galactus was necessary to cosmic balance. So the High Evolutionary and the Silver Surfer convinced Franklin Richards, the son of Reed Richards and Sue Storm, to allow the High Evolutionary to use his equipment to advance Franklin's mutation, which would allow himself to become Galactus, which he did. And the new Galactus, who was Franklin Richards, allowed the Silver Surfer, Norrin Radd, and Shalla-Bal to be reunited, and he gave her the power cosmic as well, and he had essentially twin Silver Surfers. Both of them were his heralds. So they could go that route as well. However, Frankie Raye, aka Nova, has a completely different story. And it is important to note that she is not the Silver Surfer. In the comics, she is Nova. Now, they could go on and say that she is a Silver Surfer in this, but I think there's actually going to be two heralds. We're going to have Shalla-Bal as the Silver Surfer, and then Frankie Raye as Nova as another herald. That's not confirmed, but based off of what they said about what they've seen on the set, that's my theory. In the comics, Frankie Raye is the secret stepdaughter of Phineas Horton, who was the original creator of the original Human Torch. By accident, Frankie actually gains powers that are extremely similar to the Human Torch, but Phineas blocks her memories of this. But she goes on to be attracted to Johnny Storm, partially because he is the new Human Torch. She ends up becoming his girlfriend, and eventually her memories become unlocked. And with her memories becoming unlocked, her powers are unlocked. And for a brief moment in time, she was actually a part of the Fantastic Four. However, eventually Galactus would come to Earth, and in a weird turn of events, Reed Richards would save Galactus's life, but he was still very weakened and he needed to feed. It was at this point that Frankie Raye, aka Nova, volunteered herself to be the new Herald of Galactus to spare Earth. However, she also wanted to go out and explore, so it kind of worked for her. But according to Unbox PhD and the website Max Blizz, these leaks actually show who they presume is Frankie Raye first assisting the Fantastic Four for a short period of time, and then volunteering to be the Herald of Galactus. So that is what they think they saw when watching them film the Fantastic Four. Keep in mind, they are just watching them act. They are looking from far away at the set, so it's really hard to actually determine what is going to happen, but that is what they think happened. If this is the case, that means Galactus at some point in time does come to Earth, but perhaps Frankie Raye deters him for a moment. But I believe that he'll probably come back, because again, we know Julia Gardner is going to play a version of the Silver Surfer, and she should be playing Shalla-Bal, and she is confirmed to be one of the main characters. So Galactus might have two heralds in this film, which we actually heard from some insiders a while ago. And here's what I think is happening based off of some other inside information that we've heard about Franklin Richards. I think at one point in time, early on, Galactus does come, and perhaps that is where Frankie volunteers to be the Herald of Galactus, and that saves Earth. However, I think Galactus eventually comes back, and I specifically think he comes back for Franklin Richards, and that is what some of the insiders are stating. Galactus wants Franklin. He is one of the most powerful mutants ever in the comics, and you could possibly argue that he is the most powerful character ever. That's a hard one, but the argument could be made. The point is, he has extreme power and can actually create pocket universes. And both of those Galactus is probably really interested in, because of course he needs the energy, he needs to eat, he's the devourer of worlds. So perhaps he might think that if he gets Franklin Richards, he could have an endless supply of powers. So in the beginning, perhaps the Fantastic Four, specifically Reed and Sue, don't have Franklin Richards yet. He's not born yet. But Galactus comes, Frankie volunteers herself, saves Earth, and then later on, Franklin is born, and perhaps Shalla-Bal, our version of the Silver Surfer, and of course Galactus's herald, goes to Earth and sees this magnificent child that was born with massive power, goes back and tells Galactus this, and that is why he returns. Because based off of what we know about this film, Galactus is the main villain, and there is going to be a big showdown at the end. And I don't think that ends with Frankie Raye volunteering to be the Herald. Seems a little anticlimactic, which is why I believe that might happen early on in the film. Like I said, this could really change things for the movie if this does indeed happen, because we could get Galactus a few different times. And that's not even involving the entire multiversal aspect of this film. Some other rumors state that Galactus will actually go from this universe into the main sacred timeline by the end of this film, and these rumors are actually backed up by Alex Perez from the Cosmic Circus, who said that he heard Galactus in our universe would indeed come from a different universe. So it sounds like the ending of this is going to be pretty insane. But if this is how it is actually going to go, and it looks like they have spotted possibly Frankie Raye on the set, it looks like it's going to be a pretty crazy movie with Galactus and 2 different heralds of Galactus and the Fantastic Four possibly fighting him more than once, which I really hope we get. But let me know how you feel about this in the comments down below. And please don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest MCU news. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.